Well, I can't imagine a better start for the Salon than to be here with you, surrounded by such beauty. Along the way, a lot of people have asked me to define exactly what is Salon West. It's a pretty good question. Well, although it's ostensibly a social space for conversations that matter, at its core, this is a city-building project. Being a born and raised Torontonian, I'm biased. I'm really biased. But I believe that Toronto is a world-class city with the potential to be one of the greatest in the world. Toronto is Canada's economic engine and does consistently well in international rankings. Just this year, it was rated second in the world for intelligent communities and #1 in the Youthful City Index. But our city is faced with challenges, and it's in a time of transition. We're recovering from an economic crisis and the harshest of storms. Even on a good day, Toronto has a disproportionate number of low-income households, new Canadians struggling to establish themselves, and an aging population. There are so many factors that make this city a wonderful and complex place to live in and to lead. Toronto is undergoing a transition, and now is the time to reimagine our city. What does this have to do with culture? Well, I couldn't imagine a world without art. But in terms of policy, the quality of life for everyone is enhanced through the ideas, the innovations, and the amenities that flow from a vibrant cultural sector. Visual art, music, performing arts, all of which are represented on our panel today, give us all a chance for critical reflection. By creating and consuming culture, we forge a shared identity, and we build our city. Before I get lost in my imagination and many, many layers of abstraction, let me say that having a vibrant cultural sector makes dollars and cents. It creates jobs and it creates wealth in many, many ways. But time and again, I hear that our cultural organizations are struggling. Why is that? Well, there are many reasons, but the one factor that I'm hoping the Salon will help to address is that the old centers of money and power in Toronto aren't what they always were. Let's be real here. Toronto is starting to look like me. It's becoming younger, it's becoming more diverse. The thing is, people like me, and like all of us in this room, aren't necessarily at the forefront of decision-making in this city. That's a reality. Too often, people like us aren't involved in the discussions that set the agenda for our city, and the old guard is having a crisis of imagination. I'd say that's why our city isn't working. It's a crisis of imagination. How can the culture sector that makes Toronto such a wonderful and amazing place to be, survive without engaging a more diverse range of actors? It just can't. And that was the inspiration for Salon West. So this is the place for political and cultural leaders to engage with the next generation of our great city. I also hope that this will give many people who are intimidated by these art forms the knowledge and the courage to get out there and to enjoy it and to shape it. I believe in our city. But I know that for it to fulfill its potential, we all need to work together to build it. And that's what Salon West is all about. Now, there's a funny story about how all this inspiration came to fruition. And I'm not going to tell you that just yet. But I do have another funny story. In my first meeting about the project, my interlocutor, who will remain nameless, looked me deep in the eyes and he said, "Aziza, you know what you need. You need a champion." And I was struck at how funny it was to hear anybody say that in real life. And also how true it was. But over the next few months, I didn't find a champion. No great champion emerged. But instead, I found many in my speakers, in myself, in my volunteers, and in all of you. So thank you for coming, and welcome to Salon West.